sense.
Some MPs have said that a recall of Parliament is necessary. Is that something you're considering?
Look, my focus is on ensuring that we've got the right people carrying out their duties to ensure that our streets are safe. For the public, that is the first duty of government, and that's where my absolute focus is.
So we don't need one at this stage?
No, my focus is on making sure that we stop this disorder, that the criminal sanctions are swift and follow and be seen to be followed, which is why I've asked for consideration to be given to the earliest identification and naming of those that are involved in this. Many have been arrested, some have been charged, some of them are in court now. We're entitled to know who they are so they can be identified at the first opportunity. But that's where my focus is, and I think the vast majority of people watching this would say that's absolutely where my focus should be.
Right, so he's saying he doesn't want to recall Parliament. If this situation is as serious as he's making out, and the government's making out, Parliament should be recalled, because these people need to speak and to be held to account by the people. So you've got the other parties who probably will want to ask some questions. So in some ways they are literally rolling out these new laws. I know they may be temporary, but well, I've got my ideas about that. But to roll out these laws without listening and to be questioned by the people, I think is wrong. So I think Parliament should be recalled if this situation is as serious as Keir Starmer is saying. So it's serious enough to have an army of officers on standby, an army of officers, people, an army to be used against the people. Then I think it should be serious enough for him to face questions from across the house, about what he's done, why he's doing it, and how long it's going to last for, etc. I think that he said there's no need to recall Parliament. I think there is, people. If you think this situation is as serious to have an army of officers on standby, I think we the people should be here to ask and to be able to ask those questions. And I think that we should start firstly by getting, I don't even know what the site is called, so if you know, please let me know down here in the comment section, but to start those email petitions. So we hit the 100,000, the 200,000, or however many signatures we need to force these people to answer our questions in Parliament. We have got a lot of questions that we want to ask these people, and they are turning a blind eye, pretending that those questions aren't there and those issues don't exist.
Prime Minister Sir Mark Rowley, the Met Commissioner, left this Cobra meeting and was asked a question by a reporter about two-tier policing, which is an accusation made.
So this, we're going to come to the two-tier policing. So I've got an idea on that, but let's hear what he says. So this is it Sir Mark Rowley, just came out of the Cobra meeting. What's he got to say?
By some people, including the Reform Party. He grabbed the reporter's microphone and appeared to throw it on the ground. Whoa. Is that an appropriate reaction? And what do you say to these accusations about two-tier policing?
There's no two-tier policing.
Really? Really?
There is policing without fear or favour.
So Sir Keir Starmer has just said there's no two-tier policing, and it's policing without fear or favour. Guys, let me know down here in the comment section. Really? Is he for real? Really?
Exactly as it should be, exactly what I would expect and require. So that is a non-issue. The focus here is not on the apparent motivation of anybody involved in this. This is not protest.
And then he's doubled down saying this is not a protest. People aren't protesting. So from my viewpoint, from my understanding, which may not be correct, I think the police are in a bind here because they are told from above how to police certain situations. So we can't lay the blame entirely at the police. The police are given their orders. It's just like the armies, etc. The decision making is done from above and it's filtered down to the rank and file below. So the police are only following orders, people, like you do in the army. And remember, he said this is a standing army of officers he's got ready. So it comes from the top. And he's saying that there is no fear or favour amongst how the police are policing these issues. I beg to differ because I've heard lots of different stories. So, guys, if you know some stories, just let me know here in the comment section. But this is another reason why there is so much anger, because there have been situations which I don't really want to go into, but let's just say that they involve minors that have got people incensed because when people have reported these issues and incidents, they haven't been investigated, and basically they've just had their backs turned against them. So this is one of the reasons why people have now come to the end of their tether. So this is another reason why these things need to be debated in Parliament, and Parliament does need to be recalled, and it needs to be recalled as soon as possible.
This is violence. It's violence on our streets being inflicted and targeted on communities, and we're not going to tolerate that in this country.
So this is an issue. So Keir Starmer is saying that there is targeted violence on a specific demographic, a specific community in our population. And whether that is true or false, I cannot tell you. But what I can say is that should this not be debated in Parliament? Isn't this serious enough to be debated in Parliament? So that we can lay out all the issues in front of everyone. So everyone gets a chance to speak about the issue, to raise the issue, to raise the awareness, and also to raise how we can meet that issue and how we can solve it. I don't think you solve violence with violence. It doesn't work, people. It just creates more violence.
I finally asked you about online. You mentioned that in your Cobra meeting. Should social media companies allow figures like Tommy Robinson, like Andrew Tate, to be on their platforms?
And this is where it's all leading to. So I don't know too much about Tommy Robinson. I know even less about Andrew Tate. So I'm not going to speak about them in a affirmative or a negative manner at all, because I don't know enough about them. But I know that everyone has the right to free speech, but I don't know what things they're talking about. But it's not really even the Tommy Robinsons and the Andrew Tates of this world. Is it Andrew Tate? The Andrew Tates of this world that these new laws that they're looking to implement are about. It's going to be about the boots on the floor, the people, the normal human beings like you and I, our right, our ability to speak out on certain issues, certain topics. Literally, within a short period of time, they will be taken away from us. We will be gagged, basically, gagged. And this is what it's about. So you'll use a few high-profile people to knock down and to take out everyone else. And that is the honest truth, people. I've had my channel for a while now, and when I speak out about certain things, and it's always about freedom of speech, I've spoken out about the economy a few times, quite a few times. It's tanked. And every time I've spoken out, I've been absolutely battered about it. And I'm a tiny, tiny YouTube channel, people. I have no influence whatsoever, but I speak my mind, and I don't do it in a negative way or anything like that. I just speak my mind, but I get battered for it. So someone like a Tommy Robinson, someone like an Andrew Tate, whatever, they must be treated a billion times worse than myself on my channel. But I know how frustrating it is, because you have to watch everything you do and everything you say. And even when you do that, you still get punished. It's quite unfair, people. It's quite unfair.
Well, the message from me this morning was very clear in the Cobra meeting, which is the law applies online. So if you're inciting violence, it doesn't matter whether it's online or offline. And therefore, I expect, just as in relation to those that are directly participating on the streets, for there to be arrests and charging and prosecution.
So he's saying that the law is only going to be about inciting violence. I beg to differ. I really think that that is just the tip of the iceberg. The law they want to put in place, and this is my opinion, is going to be far wider and more wider reaching. It's going to be about everything. So, for instance, if you disagree with a certain viewpoint and you just say, I disagree, it's going to come to that point where you can't even say you disagree. It's just the tip of the iceberg, people.
Equally, anyone who has been found to have committed a criminal offence online can expect the same response.
So, guys, this is my takeaway from Sir Keir Starmer and his meeting with Cobra. So, literally, I think Sir Keir Starmer, Labour, are doubling down on we are the enemy. It's literally almost a case of they're at war. They're at war with the people. And I would like to think that I'm just a common sense individual. I'm a common sense individual with no affiliation to anyone. So I've no affiliation to any group, any party, or anything like that. My only affiliation is to that of common sense. Just common sense people. And at the moment, I'm not seeing too much common sense that's going on here. Yes, there's been a lot of incidents over the weekend. There's been a lot of flashpoints, a lot of incidents. But common sense to me is a way to actually say, well, why has this happened? What were the reasons that led to this happening? And how can we get over the hump to end what is happening, but also to end it in a way that it doesn't happen again? And one of the reasons around this is the people feel that their voice is not being heard. So I think the first thing our man here can do is to reconvene Parliament, and then to get a conduit open to the people and to actually listen. And this is one thing. He talks about communication, but he doesn't listen. Listen to the people. Listen to what we're saying. And then let's have some discussions, people. Let's have some discussions. That's the only way to move forward, because if you don't listen and discuss with people, you're going to get more and more flashpoints. Guys, we're at a tipping point here, and I'm a little bit worried about the language that Sir Keir Starmer's used. So when you use language with standing armies of things, standing armies of police officers, specialist police officers, etc., it doesn't bode well. So guys, make certain you look after yourselves, you look after each other. Guys, we've got to make certain that when we protest within the parameters of the law. We don't want to give these people enough ammunition to really hurt us where it really does hurt people, and that's to take away our freedom of speech. Because without our freedom of speech, they've literally taken away our freedoms, and that is what I don't want to see. I want to see the freedom of speech. I want to see people to have dialogue, people to talk. The only way you get over issues is to talk. And Sir Keir Starmer doesn't seem to want to talk, which I find very strange. Anyway, guys, let's hope that tomorrow brings a better day for all of us. Look after yourselves, look after each other. And guys, please make sure and make certain you come back to the next Urb'n Barz reaction, guys.